Hi, my name is Karen Admiral, and today I'm going to be talking about how COVID-19 has changed the co-op and job search experience for college students and how we can help them succeed. So I want to start off by telling you a couple of stories of college students who I know. Rachel is going to be a senior in college next year. So the summer of 2020, the summer after her sophomore year, she had an offer for a really great co-op experience, and she was excited. Because of COVID, the co-op moved online, and while she was disappointed that she didn't get to do it in person, she was still very excited and thankful because a lot of her friends actually had their co-op offers rescinded due to COVID. This summer, she is again doing an online internship. And while again, she's very thankful for the opportunity to do this experience online, she is concerned that she's going to graduate from college and have no actual face-to-face work experience to put in on her resume. And then there's Michael. Michael was one of those unfortunate students who graduated in spring 2020 during COVID. He had a job lined up for after graduation, but due to COVID, the job offer was canceled, and he ended up moving back home and spending 9 months searching for a job. He finally found one, and it's not really his dream job. He sits in his bedroom all day and takes calls from people who are upset with their HR package. However, again, he's thankful to have a job, and in a few months, he will be able to interview for other jobs in the company. So just to put the experience of Michael and Rachel in a little bit of a larger perspective, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the effects of COVID-19. So first of all, effects on job openings. In the spring of 2020, there were many fewer job and co-op postings. In fact, there were 20% fewer full-time job postings on Glassdoor and 52% fewer co-op postings. So co-ops were affected even more than jobs. Additionally, during spring 2020, many people lost their jobs, but this disproportionately affected recent graduates. 80% more people under 25 lost their jobs than people in other age groups during that time. If we fast forward to spring 2021, the outlook is looking much more positive. We see help wanted signs everywhere. There's more job availability. And about 30% of employers say that they plan to hire more recent graduates than in the past. So this is good news, but remember the 2021 graduates are competing with 2020 graduates and all those people who lost their jobs in spring 2020 as well for these entry-level positions. So then COVID-19 has also affected the nature of work. About 43% of companies expect to conduct their co-ops online and in person, so in a hybrid format in summer 2021, with about 38% expecting to conduct them entirely online. So internship co-op opportunities have become much more digital and remote than in the past. Similarly, for jobs, about 50% of companies say they plan to continue operations at least partially online moving into the fall. So the job and co-op market has become much more remote and virtual. Additionally, with recruitment and hiring, it has also become more remote and virtual. Many companies are using social media to recruit and hire. Social media like Instagram and Twitter. And additionally, companies are using web conferencing as part of their hiring process. So students can expect, if they're interviewing for a co-op or a job, that they will be doing at least some of that interviewing remotely via web conferencing. So much more digital, virtual content to the recruitment and hiring process as well. This situation poses challenges for students in two main areas. First, there's what we might call the experience gap. Students who have gone to college and graduated during COVID have holes in their resume where they might have had co-op experiences. They have holes in their networking where they might have been able to connect with people by having these experiences. And they have holes in their experience and particularly the development of the essential employability qualities because they have not been able to have as much on-the-job experience as students in previous years. And then another challenge for college students is that they need different skills for this new job market. It's much more virtual and they need to develop skills to be able to succeed in getting a job and keeping a job in this market. So now I want to talk about two strategies that we can use to help students to succeed. Strategy number one is in response to the Experience Gap Challenge, and I'm calling this strategy Get Creative. So students need to get creative in terms of their resume first. So a couple of ideas for this, they can include rescinded co-op offers on their resume, because even if they didn't do a co-op, the fact that they were offered one shows that they had the initiative to apply and go out and get it, and also the qualities and skills that someone hiring a co-op student would be looking for. They could also include professional development on their resume. So we can offer at the university professional development opportunities for students in things like critical thinking and time management and professionalism. And students can take courses on a site like LinkedIn, and they can put these things on their resume, and these can help fill some of the gaps that they might have missed. Students can also get creative in terms of finding co-op opportunities that maybe be a little bit less traditional. An example would be micro-internships, internships that last only for the duration of a project or for a very short time. Companies might be more willing to hire students for co-ops in that kind of position. Students can fill in the gaps in their networking through informational interviewing, reaching out to people who work at different kinds of companies to find out more about the job and to network, and this can lead to co-op offers and job offers. And finally, another example of something that might fall in this Get Creative strategy is students can do what Michael finally ended up doing and just get a foot in the door in the company, get a job that may not be your dream job, but get started, make connections, and be able to move forward with your career. So that's strategy number one. Then the second key strategy that I want to talk about a little bit is in response to the new skills that students need to succeed in this climate for hiring for jobs and co-ops. And this strategy I'm calling Master the Skills. So first of all, students need to be very aware of their social media presence. This has been true ever since the advent of Facebook, but it's even more true now because companies are not only using social media to kind of check up on potential hires, they're actually using social media to recruit and hire. So students need to make sure that they have a professional presence online and a well-developed social media professional profile on a site such as LinkedIn. Additionally, some traditional tools for job and co-op searching, such as cover letters and thank you notes, become even more important in this environment. One thing that's difficult when interviewing virtually is to create a connection and present yourself as a real person. And writing well-crafted cover letters and thank you notes can help fill in this gap, and that's something that we can teach students to do. Students should also learn basic technical skills for interviewing via web conference. They need to know how to use technology like Teams and Zoom, and they need to know how to share their screen, how to present themselves well in a web conference, and what to do if they have digital problems during an interview. Students should be instructed to ask in potential interviews for a co-op or a job about the onboarding process, because if they're going to be working virtually and remotely, sometimes it's harder to be incorporated into the culture of the company. So this is an important question for students to ask. But no matter how helpful the company is, working remotely requires more autonomy. So we need to help students focus on self-mastery skills so that they can be proactive, manage their time well, and succeed in this new environment. So that's strategy number 2, master the skills. So those are just two things, two kind of groups of strategies that we can do to help students succeed in the post-COVID-19 search environment for jobs and co-ops. Here's some resources that I used, and I would be very happy to take questions now.
Excellent.